Okay, good morning, good evening to the online world. So, in continuation to the discussion, and I promise I'll be discussing about purely pattern applications. I'll be going through it. I'll just take a few moments before I start the process. Okay, I will walk you through. Okay, so did I publish that? Okay, so we'll wait for a couple of 30, 40 seconds and then we'll stop. And I'll walk you through the understanding of the IoT sector, that is Internet of Things, and particularly what is the technology behind the stuff in terms of the ambient light, which can be controlled in an IoT environment, and that environment itself is very conducive. Even if it's kind of an artificial light which you can have, irrespective of the fact what is the outside temperature, and you can have a kind of a control unit inside the housing itself. So in the packaging world, we like to use the word housing. We like to use the word environments. So it's not the scenarios, like I tell you. In the parenting world, everything is about environments, and in the environment itself, there can be a lot of configurations. And I'll walk you through that. Let me just fetch the applications, and I'll wait for a couple of maybe 30, 40 seconds, and then we can restart. Mute myself. I have something to do with the how to build a smart home. We are talking about smart cities right now, and we are talking about smart cities in a bigger landscape. But we have to. It's like if it's a funnel, it's like you have to go down and just tip to the tip. It's how like the package, we have to go from ground base, which is the tip itself. So we have to start from the tip and then go outwards in terms of understanding the landscape of how a smart home can be built in terms of the IoT, which is Internet of Stuff, where you have these communication protocols to build the stuff, and that stuff itself, it takes care of the way the neurons need to go at a level where that irrespective of the weather conditions outside. So with us, we have come to a state where these kind of technologies have a lot of emphasis. And right now, I think I talked about it earlier also. We talked about LEDs. LEDs are supposed to be the light emitting diodes, but let me tell you, LEDs come with a lot of bonus. When I say LED structure, how the onus is there, there is something called the term is heat dissipation, and the heat is dissipated in that heat dissipation atoms in the air that is right that leads to the rise in temperature, and it leads to the rise in temperature, and then the whole roller coaster stuff is happening. I mean, I have seen that in Kolkata. I've seen in certain places in Delhi where you have these LED structures encircled everywhere. I've talked about it that these structures should be dismantled because of the heat dissipation, the atoms that is activated and the entropy goes in all the direction altogether. So what has to do with the is, first and foremost, we need to have the power to those technologies and in whatever sense we can. One is definitely the traffic light system. But the problem statement here is we need to deploy traffic placement everywhere, and particularly at the junctures where most of the accidents are happening. So what we need to do is, even for the barrier, ambient air, and smart home structure, we need to deploy humans, that is like the human interventions in the development to help because the humans on these sectoral stuff, at least in India, because we need to train them on their lives. I mean, the last time I visited, wherever I visited, when I was back in India, when I saw people at the found the young generation, I mean, they are so cute, they're so smart and their capacity to understand things is very fast. And we've always seen that in all times that the education system is so cheap. And that is one reason there are a lot of people who are going to and that's a good thing. In many aspects, they don't need to get things in the way it is done because the fee structure and everything like it's broken to the core. I mean, I don't know let's get back to the patent application. Taking you through the patent application. So this is basically a GP application which is supposed to be okay. This is the patent number. And I'll walk you through that. It has been filed in many countries. You just see whether it's filed in India or not. No, it's not filed in India. It's a hazard detector and it has a blah 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 blah. So there's a lot of light emission and stuff. Honestly speaking, please, patent claims don't play any role. Making things a little bit more synchronized in way of documentation and it gives you the impact. Magazine. I'll give you an example. The focus for the longest time has been on the thought that you write anything, submit it before any of the patent offices because it's like, humans are supposed to interact. That's how it is. My question is repeated again and again and again. Now, when we talk about the patenting stuff and when we talk about the why stuff, the claim is just, it's not even the housing or the parameters or the perimeter stuff. It's just a way to my mind, it is just an abstract to tell the framework. But the framework is basically the data set which is there written in the detailed description along, which is where the client if any. Although it is said we have to disclose the best method, blah blah blah. In most of the cases, you don't see that. I mean, even if the patent is granted, that is granted because it's a capitalistic way to run a country. There's a lot of fiat currency, or you talk about cryptocurrency, would be involved just to gain momentum. But because we are at the section of the 2.0, whatever, the important bit is for understanding the structural integrity of the patent application and blah blah blah. Okay. So it's basically a detector. It has various features and functionality with sensors. As I said, generally sensors or filtration voice sensors is connected to some kind of module component elements. People can definitely psicograph and you can write whatever you wish. Whether or not you get patent, that doesn't even matter because what I feel is we have come to a juncture because people are using the interface of the government as far because the government is getting money. They file the application. It is stored in SQL, that is the socket query language, and even it acts as a trade secret. And people have been using it to develop their own things because for the longest time when I was speaking in all these forums, whether it was college, whether it was anywhere else, I just saw that even cricketers had sent the people to have a conversation with me, and they wanted to understand because they saw that there are a few partners which were based out in the US. I had filed the application before the filing office. It's very easy. Once the application is published, people who understand the industry can just see the data set. Now this particular cricketer had sent his in Hindi हम बोलते हैं चेला चपाटा भेजना. चेला चपाटा is basically people who are serving them to make them a brand because right now everybody is trying to sell something in the online world. Somebody is selling merchandise, somebody is selling shirts, somebody is selling caps. But the point of contention is the reality check is not done. I mean, for a cricketer or any player for that matter, they will concentrate on their game. They are paid for that. And in many cases, these guys are nominated for the coach and for the vendors because they really can't have that business. On the forum where technology is the paramount right now, and I have been very vocal about it that there are so few partner agents in India. I mean, the essence of having an agent in different backgrounds, somebody who is able to speak in the dialect of employee XYZ, and there have been a lot of discussion around the process that we should allow them to file in the regional language. See, the problem statement here is it is good to embrace the language. There's no question. See, if you want to convert it in any of the languages, because language is nothing but it's a signal. It's a signal to communicate something. Even this particular platform which we are using right now, it's a signal to which we are communicating to the another portal, and people from other nodes can log in to the internet, which is www.worldwideweb, and have a communication. The point here is why it cannot be allowed because English is the universal language. We talked about it. Now it's not that since it has 26 alphabets, blah blah blah. You do the coding of 26, 2 plus 6 is 8. That is infinity. Do you think Ramanujan's equation is that easy? The answer is big no. We at Sri Lanka, when we did it, which was Ruby on Rails, it was the brainchild of 140 plus countries. And those 140 plus countries were able to embrace Ruby on Rails, and we were able to at least get the protocol right, which is the basic framework of the communication to develop the 2G, 4G, 5G, 6G, 7G, whatever generative technology we are talking about. It's nothing to do with the protocols of the computer because communication people have a very different bandwidth of understanding the protocol. Now, bandwidth doesn't mean that you start creating a particular band or band for that matter. Because what we are seeing right now is the main data set which is coming is since parenting people have a little bit more knowledge than the others, either they are infringing on the intellectual property rights, either they are giving or selling the data to the third party and the darkness. Now, the question which is very, very important right now is how we can minimize the darkness. That is where all these regulations, GDPR, and everything, and India particularly has to see what engine it wants to deploy to stop this movement. Now, another data set which I would like to talk about in this discussion for today would be warehouse for the quite manufacturing goods who were related of Arjun Khanji. He told me what happened. Like, a professor of mine. So understand one thing, ISRO and all these organizations, biggest organizations in the dominant, they're main. I'm not getting the numbers. But what is important is scientists, being a scientist, and scientist also has different grades. Being a scientist takes a lot. It takes a lot of years. Now, particularly because education ministry in India should be run by scientists. That's my goal. He said, what happened was this particular person had rejected the file. I mean, in most of the cases, most of the research cannot be done because we don't have those equipment which are required to conduct that particular research because filing pattern is just one part, but supporting it with wet lab research, because wet lab research is very intensive in terms of the fiat currency which is required. Now, what can be done is question we all are trying to answer. And for the longest time, I have been of the opinion that all these colleges, countries have to have this protocol and the understanding that they can use each other resources and they will share the technology between them, not only for this government but in perpetuity. And that's where this blockchain and the smart contracts would come in place. Just signing an MOU is just an understanding. Okay, you come to our place, we will do this, and have a discussion. That discussion is not going anywhere. I mean, even having a discussion on a stage and saying that we are doing XYZ is not helping anybody right now, because even the recordings fed to the AI, that AI is not able to differentiate a human mind. And let me tell you, the cognitive ability is not 10%. The cognitive ability of this whole whatever we are developing in the best formative stuff, nobody is in a position to say or put it a nomenclature that this is the cost or this is the percentage of XYZ, because again you are limiting yourself. When you are in your spiritual format, you are reaching a higher consciousness, and higher consciousness is very high. You cannot capture the consciousness. Nobody can capture consciousness per se. Again, there are a lot of patent applications written around capturing concepts and everything. I don't want to get into it because these are not leading anywhere. What is important here is to understand that these patent applications, whatever the IP is, whatever the intellectual property rights are, we have to embrace it, because in the online world, this kind of data is freely available. And when we talk about the blockchain is to solve the problems which are massive in nature and which has to resolve the SDG goals, which is sustainable goals. So just try to be a good coder and stop your work if anybody is working in the dark web, because now the data sets are very clear. We have identified a lot of players globally. It's not that they are coming from X origin or Y origin. There are a lot of players, there are a lot of government internal politics which is now being seen in whatever way we are seeing. That this has to be controlled, because internet was to connect people, not dismantle people in any way whatsoever. Thank you for watching out the video. And for the LED stuff, so wherever the LED lighting is there, you have to dismantle that so that the heating effect of the LED can be minimized, because that technology itself is very expensive. So we should not go into that ambient light and understand that what needs to be done in that regard. And there, blockchain and all these different. I mean, whatever we are trying to solve, it's not solving. Even the players who are active in the cryptocurrency are not solving anything, and we are giving opinion on what, even whatever ICOs are being done. That is the old way of doing ICOs. I mean, we or there are very few people in the world, and each of us know each other in terms of who are the real blockchainers of the world. And these real blockchainers who are the creators of blockchain have been given physical coin. That doesn't mean I give the physical coin to XYZ. That person will not know, because it's a very close network of the people who understand internet the way it has to be understood. And here the EPO, or particularly the European Patent Office and the European Union, is going to play the pivotal role. That's how it has been written. We have nothing to say, we have nothing to do but be part of that protocol and solve the massive problems. Thank you for watching out the video. Have a great day.